Please.
Commissioner Patton is absent this evening. Commissioner Barwick,
Here.
Commissioner Webb,
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. I've asked Ed Davis, who is also going to speak to us immediately after the pledge on the Veterans on Parade effort this year, but I've asked him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all stand, put your hand over your heart, and pledge the allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank the Mayor for allowing me to speak early this evening so I can get home early, and the City Council for listening to what I have to say. Before I make the announcement for the reason I'm here tonight, I want to preface that announcement with just a short story. When we first started this parade in 2005, and the planning lasted about a year and a half before we even got into it. We had roughly about a dozen veterans. It was the idea of one, Joe Loomis, who's no longer with us, and it kind of barreled down to 4 major veterans who stayed the course, along with the help of some civilians and the 2nd Brigade Motorcycle Club. Prior to doing this parade for veterans, I was involved as an organizer along with Karen Robertson and Mary Gabby and a few other people. We did a parade for Santa Claus. We did a Christmas parade here in Marion. It lasted the first year we started. It was strictly, marching kids, bringing Santa Claus, who was played by Bill Dwyer at the time, and his wife played Mrs. Claus. And we had it in the area of the square because we knew that a lot of the kids who lived in this area, on this side of town, could benefit from that parade. More so than some who lived in my neighborhood, out by the high school. So what happened was, we started that parade, and the first couple of years we had a chocolate fountain. We paraded with Santa Claus from either the parking lot by IPA or down by the train station. We had Santa Claus come in a helicopter. We had him in a fire truck. We had him in a sidecar with Harley Davidson, Black Diamond Harley Davidson. And we used to let the kids march, the young kids march behind the Santa Claus. But what happened was, by the end of the 2nd year, I saw that kids didn't want toys. We had maybe 3 or 4 bicycles that we gave away. And what happened was, we decided that it became the Great Bicycle Giveaway Christmas Parade. And Terrence, he was involved in that too. Hell no, and John, because he donated bicycles. The last year I was there, in 2012, before I moved to St. Louis, we gave away 169 bicycles to kids. Wow! Yeah! And I'll tell you how remembering it was. Last October, I came to see my surgeon, Dr. Clayton Marty. I was checking in at the clinic. And I said, "Hi, I'm Ed Davis, I'm here, blah, blah, blah." The lady looked at me, young lady, probably in her mid-20s. She looked at me, she said, "Are you Ed Davis, the guy who used to do the Christmas parade?" I just kind of looked at her. I said, "Yeah." She goes, "That was my first bicycle I ever got." When I left in 2012, I turned it over to an organization, and this is why I'm telling you this story, to an organization. Unfortunately, they moved it off the square and out to the pavilion. Within 2 years, it was done. Now, let me go into my announcement. We are planning our 18th Veterans on Parade on September 10th at 10 a.m. here in Marion on Main Street. One of the things I have to say, I have several of my committee members here, Don Trombetta, shooter from 2nd Brigade, Karen Robinson. If it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have had it. These last 5 months been kind of trying on me from a health standpoint. I'm now the proud owner of a pacemaker that I didn't want, but I figured I better have if I wanted to keep walking around. But the point I'm making is, because they're going to take on more of the burden than I had, we're going to have the parade this year. And I can't thank them enough. But at some point, Ed Davis is going to be around, and I don't want this parade to end up like the Christmas parade here in Marion. And I hope we still get the support, which we have gotten. You know, the support from the city services, from the mayor, from the city council, police and fire department. Where's Brian? Is Brian in here?
He's out.
Oh, he's out there, okay. I mean, I want to tell you, the city services have been great for the parade and stuff that I've done while I lived here. I'm sorry that the 28 years I lived here, I had to leave. But I have two little grandsons, twin grandsons that were born 10 years ago, and I helped take care of them. But we're gonna have the parade this year. It'll be, like I says, marching from the junior high, and we'll assemble also at the Marion High School instead of the VA. We figured it worked out a lot more. We had a lot more room out at the high school than we do at the VA. And there's not all these twists and turns to get floats and vehicles down, you know, Carbon Street and get them onto Main Street. We're gonna go out to the Williamson County Fairgrounds, and we'll have a memorial service out there. You know, one of the things that I'm proud about doing this parade, besides for veterans, it's for first responders too. They are our veterans, and mostly all these services, the police department, the fire department, most of these guys and girls, they're veterans. So again, we'd like to have a good showing for that memorial ceremony out at the fairgrounds. We're gonna make one change this year, Mayor, so you know, and everybody else that's here. We've been having the bands go out to the fairgrounds. Last year, we had a few too many bands. It was a gridlock. If you could think of gridlock in Marion, it was at the fairgrounds as the parade came down Main Street. This year, we're gonna cut the bands off at the Washington School. Because when you get past Washington School, I noticed the last couple of years, we don't have that many parade lookers. So we're gonna hopefully have everybody from the junior high on the bystanders to the Washington School. After that, this way we won't get jammed up out there. But again, I wanna thank everybody for all the help. Thank my committee members, because like I said, if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I'd be here tonight. Somebody would have to pick it up, and they didn't wanna do it. They kept saying, you do it. I said, no, but we need somebody else. We need some younger veterans or older veterans in good shape to come out and be a part of something that's good and big and decent at a time when we need good and decent in our community. And like I said, if I ever thought I had a second home, this is it. Marion has always been here. That's always been like another home for me. And I'm proud to say that I lived in Marion, Illinois, if it was only for a time. Thank you, Mayor, thank you for everything, and
We can tell by your Marion accent.
you know, it's hard to lose that Brooklyn accent. You know, it's a trademark anyway, especially to an Irishman.
Well, we greatly look forward to the parade, so I know you will, but please let us know if there's anything we can do to help.
Will do. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. John, I'll be talking to you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, I think we'll wait for a second. I think the committee members there may be going with Ed there, so we'll just give them an opportunity to leave. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, our public comments, audience to visitors. This is the opportunity for anybody to speak to the council, subject to a couple of ordinances, copy of which is up here by the flower arrangement on the counter. Is there anybody who'd like to address the council? Okay, seeing none, or hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is items A, B, and C tonight. Anybody on the council want any item or sub-item of A, B, and C removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately? Anybody from the audience like any of those items removed and voted upon separately? Okay, hearing no objections, I've entertained a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, A, B, and C as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Moving on to new business, I'm gonna jump around just a little bit here to accommodate some folks tonight. But we are gonna start with item 5A, which is first. I'm gonna jump down to the police department, because I know we have some new hires here and some families that are present, and so that you don't have to endure the rest of the entertainment, you'll be welcome to leave at that moment. However, our representative, is it from Horner Shipman? Yes. Is here tonight to discuss a pretty long effort that's been afoot, and she too has a time constraint and drove quite a bit to be here, and so let you come up if you don't mind and present that plan. Was that the plan?
I'd be glad to wait till the families get the.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the kids.
Well, you're first on the agenda regardless, but
Whatever works for you guys, I'm ready to wait.
your presentation isn't all that long, is it?
Nope.
Well, let's knock that out then and let you go home and get back to St. Louis or wherever.
Yeah, I'm just here to say.
Would you mind to go up to the podium and the microphone, please?
Yes, thanks for having me today. We're really thrilled to have been able to work on this bike plan for Marion. Marion is a really, really neat progressive city, and we're excited about all the things that are happening. The Crab Orchard Greenway and the connectivity related to bikes and walking and pedestrians. So the bike plan was completed recently, just at the end of June. And this included a comprehensive review of what's going on now, all the existing conditions, and what the opportunities are to look for both on-street and off-street bike facilities. Really, our filter is creating facilities that are good for people of all ages and abilities. So for children, if we can make it safe for children, then we can make it safe for everybody. So that was our whole kind of driving force in this plan. It's an ambitious plan and has a lot of components to it, but over time, as you seek to connect things, connect more and more together, it'll connect schools and parks, the new Crab Orchard Greenway that's in development, retail and businesses, and over time, really connect everything together. The other opportunity with Marion is there's a lot of really great, just kind of slow, easygoing streets with not a lot of traffic, and those are able to be taken advantage of in a very low cost to create bike boulevards, or calm streets is what we call those. And so that's really a sharing of bikes and vehicles and people together, because of those residential streets are such great opportunities in Marion. So any questions for me?
Could you state your name for the record? I didn't catch it.
Oh,
I'm so
sure,
sorry.
yes, Laurel Turrington. I'm with Horner Shipman, and I'm Senior Complete Streets Planner. I've also been a project manager on this project for kind of the second half of the project.
So fair to say, I think I know the answer to this, but for the public's consumption, again, this was a study that was funded by SIMPO, is that correct?
That's correct.
Southern Illinois Metropolitan Planning
Planning
Organization?
Organization.
There's a whole lot of acronyms in
Yeah,
this
I'm glad you said it, because I would have been
job.
trying to remember.
Fair to say this is a roadmap, pardon the pun, for us on how we
That's correct.
can integrate things in the future. And you mentioned the Crab Orchard Greenway project, which is a reality for sure.
Mhm.
It's gonna take several years, I think, for that to complete. But this just more of a well, like I said, a roadmap on things we can do. When you mentioned calming roads or paths, which one did you
Yeah,
say?
calm
Calming?
streets are streets that have low traffic and already kind of are set up for kind of a sharing environment. But there's also a calming of streets that are
That's right.
that need traffic to be able to be slowed down so that they can be shared with pedestrians and bikes. And those are not our big arterial roads where we want to move cars efficiently and not create traffic jams. Those are other roads that are really great for that type of possibility. And as you said, this is a roadmap. It's a big network that we've created in Marion, and you can kind of take it on piece by piece, and over time really create some great connectivity. And what's great about this is that as you're planning your roadway improvements, as you're planning all kinds of other infrastructure, you keep this document in mind, and over time you add those connectivity, those opportunities, and build those over time. And this allows you to have that plan so you kind of know what the big picture is and always working towards that, that big picture. One other comment I would make is that this also allows you to be in good shape for applying for federal funds, which the Crab Orchard Greenway has been the beneficiary of already, that apply for federal funds to build these types of projects.
You guys have any questions on this, or what we do with it, I guess, from here is the big question, but,
I have just a quick question on the greenway itself. How are they choosing where to, because I see different pieces of it being constructed, right now. Is there a method to the madness of where, what's going when, how?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Greenway. We do know the piece that's in design that will be going out to bid pretty soon, and Cody will probably be able to talk a little bit more about that, those other pieces. But that one, that's kind of the east piece that we're connecting directly to with our network. And then I'll let Cody tell you about anything else.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
So as far as the Greenway goes, that's a project that IDOT's really studied and planned for. They've developed all those plans. I know they're using a lot of the actual Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge. Is that an old train trestle that went south of Old Route 13? So they're looking at underutilized spaces off of Route 13 to use that are adjacent to, and that's really how they kind of developed that plan. So each community and each entity, including Johnny Logan, for example, the refuge, for example, City of Carterville, City of Marion, we'll have some pieces that we're gonna be responsible for through grant funds and other things, but they basically studied that, laid out the best use of land between here and Carbondale, and said, here's the bike path, let's figure out a way to build it out. So that's kind of how that came about. Through their study is how they determined that.
I think part of the answer, as far as the madness part of it, the timing of which, these are multi-jurisdictional approaches. For example, our grant that we got, which was an ITEP grant, right?
Yes.
ITEP, that's
Yes.
I don't know what that one stands for, Illinois Transportation
Enhancement
Enhancement
Program.
Program, okay. I'm getting there.
Ain't a whiteboard.
So, our timing on that's multi-jurisdictional, and the school district, I think, was first on that application, and then we were a sub.
I think Rides Mass Transit was even.
Rides Mass Transit was involved, so our timing on our piece of it was different than maybe Carterville's or the, ours was also the Crab Orchard Wildlife Refuge was a signatory on our
Yes.
grant.
Yeah.
So it's just a timing of when they got in for the grant, those only come on annual cycles, so without question, this is gonna be built piecemeal, but ultimately connect it all together, and what she's presenting is how we can take those recommendations from the Fosse area, the Chris Sports Complex, where that will terminate, ultimately, bring that through town. I hope ultimately it can be connected all the way through Tunnel Hill and maybe beyond. But we've got to figure out how to make the rest of our town bike friendly with these practices too. So, is that fair? Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a safe trip home.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna jump a little bit. If that's okay with everybody. Item number 7. I think we have items A through E, which are, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, forget everything I just said about 7 and all that. Let's act on 5A, which is, would be my motion to adopt the Marion Bike Plan as presented.
Second that.
Any questions on this? I genuinely hope we can incorporate a lot of this into our planning as we move forward. So let's not let this become shelfware, what I call shelfware. Let's make it active. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay, all right. Now let's go to item number 7, and I think A through E have to do with hires. And I suspect, and None of our guests are here because of that, so Commissioner Barwick?
I'd like to make a motion that we would approve the recommendation of the Merit Board, myself and Chief Fitz, to hire Garrett Patterson as a patrol officer with probationary 1 rate for the collective bargaining agreement. Patterson's start date will be August 1st, 2022.
I second that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Chief?
Garrett?
I really have to say that of all the things I do all year long, one of my favorite ones is to get to hire new officers to get their career started. So getting to hire 3 tonight is really an exciting thing for me. So this is a good night. So, gentlemen of the council, this is Garrett Patterson. You may or may not know him or his family. His family are the proud owners of American Monument Company on South Court Street. Garrett is currently a resident of Bourville. Maybe I can talk him into moving to Marion, I don't know.
No pressure.
Mayor's looking at you. So, Garrett, we're very happy to have you. We look forward to great things. Congratulations. And all 3 of these gentlemen will begin the academy August 30th. They will be going to Southwestern Illinois College Police Academy in Belleville. I spared them the torture of going to the State Police Academy only because it wasn't available yet. So, I want to introduce you to the council. This is Commissioner Webb, Commissioner Stecklin, Mayor Absher, Commissioner Barwick, that's City Clerk Tammy Beasley behind you. Over there is Mayor's Chief of Staff Cody Moak and the City Attorney Wendy Cunningham. Okay. Just back there.
All right, item 7B, Commissioner Barwick.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of the Merit Board, myself and Chief Fitz, to hire Mason Dodd as a patrol officer at the probationary 1 pay rate for the collective bargaining agreement. Dodd's start date will be August 2nd, 2022.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Chief?
This is Mason Dodd. It's a little bittersweet hiring him for patrol because he is currently one of our 911 dispatchers. So it's gonna hurt to lose a good dispatcher, but he has shown and proven to us that he's ready for the road, and I think that's where his heart is. So we expect great things. Mason, congratulations. Oh, hang on. I can speak from experience, the academy's gonna be tough on you because of this right here. So, you know, I've already introduced, so shake your hand. Congratulations. You too. And that one's it.
All right, item 7C, Commissioner Barwick.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of the Merit Board, myself and Chief Fitz, to hire Jackson Yates as a patrol officer at the probationary 1 rate for the collective bargaining agreement. Yates' start date will be August 3rd, 2022.
I would second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Chief?
This is Jackson Yates. Anybody that is a sports fan of Southern Illinois a couple years ago probably saw and read his name in the papers constantly. He was a standout football player for Heron. Can't help him, went to the wrong school, but you know how that goes. So anyway, he comes from a family that serves the community. His father is I'm sorry, Roger, I forgot your rank. You captain of the Heron Fire Department. I've said it to you once, I'm gonna say it again. You leave us for the Heron Fire Department, I'll stab you in your neck and in your sleep. All right. So that may sound a little rough, but that's a popular saying from Marion PD. When we get upset with somebody, we say, we're gonna stab you in the neck. It's just a
Sorry,
little
Wendy.
joke, Mayor. So, again,
For the members of the press, that was a joke.
that was a joke. Curtis, Becky, that was a joke. The world watching, that was a joke. So I've already made my announcements, all right, so let's get a picture. Okay, go meet it.
All right, item 7B.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation that Chief Fitz to hire Ted Tinker as school security officer at the agreed upon pay rate between Marion Unit 2 schools and the City of Marion.
I would second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yeah, Chief.
Gentlemen, this is Ted Hunziker. He recently retired from the Illinois Department of Corrections. Had a long and outstanding career with IDOC, and he looking forward to helping our students, which I know that very near and dear to all of our hearts. And these school security guard positions is something we take very, very seriously, and we have nothing but high hopes for you. So, Ted, welcome aboard. Thank you, sir. That's Commissioner Webb. Mayor Absher, Commissioner Barwick, City Clerk Tammy Beasley, Mayor Chief of Staff Cody Moak, and City Attorney Wendy Cunningham. Thanks, Ted.
Okay, item 7E.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of Chief Fitz to hire Roy Sweet as the school security officer at the agreed upon pay rate between Marion Unit 2 schools and the City of Marion.
I will second that motion.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yeah.
He is not here tonight.
Okay.
He is also retired from the Department of Corrections, has a little background in law enforcement, so we look forward to getting our school security built up.
Okay. Anything else tonight, Chief? You've got?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's just go ahead and finish up the agenda on item 7 since we're here, and we'll go backwards. Item 7F.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a collective bargaining agreement with the Illinois FOP Labor Council for dispatchers, effective retroactive to May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Okay, item 7G, we've already approved the purchase of these units, but we have approved the financing agreement. So item 7G.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 3820, authorizing a loan with First Southern Bank to purchase 5 police interceptors. And like the mayor said, that had already been voted on to buy the vehicles. It was a budgeted item.
Second that.
Okay, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yeah, okay. I think we got item 7. All right, let's go back now, under new business, item 5. I want to explain this just a little bit. not so much for the commissioners, but for the public. Item B and C are related. This is, it looks goofy, and it is a little bit goofy. It's kind of a one-off thing. I'll explain how this kind of went down. As everybody's well aware at this point, we have been acquiring some properties in the Midway, Concord, Hendrickson area to try to revitalize that area along the lines of another plan and study that was done, our community revitalization plan. We were approached by one of these parties, the first one here, the owner, or the daughters actually, these parties, I believe, that passed away, wanting to sell their home to the city. And frankly, their house was just too nice for us to acquire and tear down. Beautiful home. And this other party in item C also wanted to, kind of independent of that completely, and that one had been going on a long time, wanted to sell, but with the provision that we find them another home and trade them, but they wanted to stay in that area. And so that had kind of been laying there for a long time. When the first party, item B, came and wanted to sell, I didn't put two and two together as how to make that work. Tim Stotler, from our building and codes director, did make that connection pretty brilliantly and said, well, what about we just buy one, since that house needs to stay, this person can go over there. So it was kind of a match made thing, and it all really worked out. The benefit for the city is on item C here, this is a piece of property that's adjacent to others that we've already acquired. And so that we're really only buying one piece of property, if that makes sense. So, but the good news is, what we don't want to do is be tearing down stuff that is affordable housing and in great shape, and that's really what the house, it described the item that's in 7B. So I know that's really strange, but those two are completely interrelated there. That's kind of how it all came about. I give Tim Stotler a lot of credit for connecting those dots and making that happen and making two different parties very, very happy and benefiting the city at the same time. So on item B, that would be my motion to approve the purchase of 1231 South Midway Court from the decedents of Frederick and Melinda Nichols for $35,000, property identification number 06-24-38-005.
I'll second that.
We got that, whatever you want to record that as. Anybody have any questions on that? I know it's a little out of the ordinary on this. Make sense? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yeah.
Mayor Absher.
Okay, so I think I've explained item C, how it's interrelated, so that'd be my motion to approve the acquisition of 1215 West Concord Street from Angie Hodge, PIN 0624 327 056 via a trade for the house we just approved to purchase at 1231 South Midway Court, PIN 0624328005 with no money exchanged.
I would second that.
A roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yeah.
Mayor Absher.
Okay, item D has nothing to do with the other two, just to be clear. Completely independent, and that's a motion to approve purchase of 1233 West Concord Street from DHS Property Solutions LLC for $35,000. Property identification number 0624328004.
Second that.
Any questions on this? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yeah.
Mayor Absher.
Yay, item 7E, this is a grant that Glenn has been working on with some private developers. Pull this up. For road development with the Delta Regional Authority grant. In essence, we have to be the signatory of the grant as a governmental body. There really isn't any contemplated expenditure here on the part of the city, but is that correct ultimately?
Matching grant would be $430,000 plus a month.
Right, which the developer has agreed.
Developer has agreed to this. If we get the grant, he would pay that portion.
Right, so again, be no exchange, no public funds per se used in this, but Delta Regional as being a governmental unit, and this is required, that we've done these before like this, and that's what this is about. You've got that in your packet, and that's my motion to adopt resolution 2022-17, resolving to apply for fiscal year 2022 Delta Regional Authority grant as presented.
I would
I would
second.
second that.
Okay, what's that?
No.
Any questions on this? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yeah.
Mayor Absher.
Okay, item 5F is redevelopment agreement in your packet with Robbins Nest. We approved a redevelopment agreement previously on this, but this, she's added some additional developers to that agreement, right, Cody? Is that what this
I'll
is?
just give a brief
Okay.
rundown. So we see this sometimes, in the process of doing their project, they may run to the store, and use their personal credit card to buy, building materials or for the like. So then they submit those receipts and they're in the name of the person that bought them rather than the company. So we have to add those folks, to the redevelopment agreement so that they can recoup those costs per the agreement. It's no new money or anything like that. It's just, again, they chose to use their personal credit card or something like that, which is why instead of just Robbins Nest Learning Center, Inc., we're also adding Robin Moore and her husband Randall Moore to the agreement as they accrue costs related to this project.
Okay. Anybody else want to read one?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 3819, an amendment to the redevelopment agreement with Robbins Nest, allowing for additional developers.
Second that motion.
Any questions on this? Especially since Cody already sat down. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yeah.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, under 6, Hub Recreation Center, I'll ask Chris to come up. We've been battling this issue for quite some time. You've got this in our packet.
Yep, some detail in your packet, and I'd like to kind of give you some background and then answer any questions you have on it. So really from the beginning, we had some issues in various areas of the facility, and one of those was with the pool filtration on all 3 pool filters. So the pool filters that were installed in 2014 and 15 really, in my opinion, should have been sand filters. And most certainly they should not have been of the Namato brand, which was a very new company. And that company declared bankruptcy, I think Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2017. We learned in 2018 of that, and we began having operational problems fairly early. And these same problems persist today due to design deficits of the filters. We've exhaustively troubleshooted. We do daily work to extend the life of the filters. We see a decline in their function, a continued decline. 2020, we met this problem with a Band-Aid essentially to hopefully extend the life of them. We hoped 5 years extension if we could, and we replaced the filter elements of those filters. That was at approximately a cost of, when all was said and done with that, was $65,000 approximately. So currently today, we're seeing again continuing flow to the chemical systems, which is inconsistent, maintenance time and expenditure, which is exorbitant, excessive, and pool operations affected. It will lead to an eventual, inevitable closure of the pools, either electively with a plan or abruptly without that plan. So we can select filter replacements and schedule the closure. Our first selection vendor that you see in your packet that I can discuss and answer questions about can complete that on a particular schedule. So our second choice vendor, and that basically would be, if we can get it approved, would begin in December 1st with demolition and installation. In that process, we have a number of things we can do, and it should be about a 3 to 4 week closure in order to get reopened by January 1. So that is my recommendation to install those filters. So sand filters are currently, as you probably know, widely used for many, many years. You know, the concept 100 years, you know, they've been used for 60, 70 years, and we see this particular sand filter that I'm recommending in service and outdoor settings in area pools, both in St. Louis, you'll see that in your packet, Scott Air Force Base, Harrisburg City Pool that has had it for at least 30 years, and that pool, that city pool has worked with that vendor for 25 years. We've worked with this vendor that I'm recommending for the entire operation that we've been at the hub. So my recommendation, as far as the filtration goes, is sand filtration. It's tried and true over the years. It's simpler in operation. These particular Stark filters are simpler in operation relative to non-electrical, non-electronic methods of backwash and water diversion, essentially. So lower maintenance and time, safer maintenance than the regenerative filters. So in your packet, you've got 3 sand quotes from the 3 companies and 2 regenerative. Currently, our system is regenerative. It has a filter media that the water filters through, and that filter media essentially is like a DE, diatomaceous earth, that's perlite. So it's a particular product that filters quite well when it works well. So,
So
and
it
that's-
works until it doesn't?
Until it doesn't, yeah.
Got it.
Mhm. So,
Chris, with this bid, with Midwest, and it was the one it's the lowest one, and it's the one you're recommending, right?
correct.
So, Bill, I meant to ask you this question earlier today, I meant to ask Cody, and I forgot. The UV
Yes,
rebuild, is that also, I'm a little
Yeah.
confused on that. but
absolutely.
Should we be
So-
approving that too tonight, the
Yes.
UV rebuild?
I would recommend it for this reason. UV light disinfection assists with the disinfection of the water. It's a great system to have. Currently, our 3, we've recently had one of them in operation of the 3, and we're having filtration, of course, issues of filtration media going back to those systems.
Okay.
And having the UV improves the disinfection of the water.
Well, my
So
other que-
UV is excellent to have with regenerative or sand, or I should say particularly sand. It will help with disinfection and filtration,
Well, my
or
other-
the disinfection portion.
My real question was, I think, why did the other 2 bidders not bid that one?
The UV, this
Because they were
particular,
going to
the
regenerate?
regenerative, and also they feel like they're, even if they did sand, their particular systems, if we chose sand, their footprint of their systems would not fit in our, they have doubts that it would fit in our pump room. The Midwest vendor has visited us 4 times. Each of the others has visited once. One of them did produce a UV replacement quote, which is not on par with that particular repair, but a UV replacement of $127,000. That's not in this quote, but that was the 3rd vendor. We did not get that far with, hey, can you rebuild these UV systems with those 2 vendors? They did not have as much input on the UV side, but they both did, of course, they both did say, maintain your UV or replace your UV. So surely they believe in the UV and they would quote it, but we do not have quotes on the UV side for that, for those 2 vendors. One said you'll have to either move or replace with a smaller UV system. So they are, this particular Midwest has said, I've got a sand filter. We don't have to move the UV. It'll all fit in there. There's plenty of room. And the rebuilds are approximately $6,800 plus the labor to do the rebuilds. I can talk some on the UV rebuilds and what that consists of.
You mean from the other 2 vendors?
No,
This one is
this one, Midwest. So that's the 8,232.
Okay.
The UV does not have to be removed or moved to put those stark filters in.
Is
So
this
it's
UV
preferable.
rebuild required or just recommended?
It's recommended, it's not required for the filter job.
Okay.
The UV would stay in place. It could be deferred further. It will assist with disinfection and function of the pools, but it's not required as part of this filter quote.
Would they do that at the same time when they're
Yes.
doing the sand filters? So is it safe to
Yeah.
presume that if we didn't do it at this time, it could be more expensive later because they would?
It could be with parts and so forth. So we were going to do it ahead of the filter replacement, but we learned that the media is going back into the UV, and if we rebuild, basically there's UV bulbs, there's wipers, seals and various things, there's a screen, and if we were to break those down, replace all the parts and get them operational, then we could have problems with that rebuild system. So we looked at that again and said, it does not make sense to do the UV builds until we actually replace the filters. So it could take place in the future. It may well, or it may not be more expensive in the future, but it would be done at the same time with the same crew to rebuild the UVs as they install the filters.
You'd probably have another downtime for the pool too. If you did
I think they could do the UV rebuilds without pool downtime because you isolate those. But that's a good point. No, they could do it in the future without further downtime.
Okay.
Currently, as far as we know, the UV is working properly
Um,
now.
The UV, we know that some of them, like the wipers, that basically cleans in order to have the UV function. Some of those may well be, with the age that it is, the bulbs certainly are producing lower UV dose. And so it's anticipated that you're going to replace some UV system parts with the age that they are. They're operating, we had the lap pool operating just a couple weeks ago. And then flow was affected by running it through that particular location, that particular route. So we had, in order to get flow back to the chlorinators, we had to take the UV offline again. But the other two are operational. So it's just a matter of you get those screens cleaned out, you replace the parts, the wipers, the UV bulbs, and then you're back up and running with those.
Yeah.
I'd say do it all at once while we're doing it. Do about it.
Well, you wanna make that motion then, since you got it all?
Sure. I'd make a motion that we would accept the bid for Midwest Pool and Court, in the amount of, for the filter, $291,292. And then also, for the UV and the UV system rebuild, the amount of $8,232.
I would second that.
Okay, any further questions from Chris?
We talked about the perils of DE 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, like I said, we knew this was coming for a while, it was just basically deferred until this point.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive facility
Mhm.
to keep up with. Keep having some
It'd
issues.
be nice to be able to, think through this, and spend that kind of money on other types of improvements in the facility or not spend it. But here we are but we're making it right.
Yep.
Getting it to where the building is on track.
Can we be pretty sure here to say we have the cleanest, most pure, disinfected pool water in Southern Illinois?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Take that to the bank. Let your children swim safely.
You're not gonna drink it though.
No.
Not recommend.
Glenn has a comment,
Yeah.
I think.
No.
Is this supplement or replace the chlorination?
The UV,
Yes.
it's supplemental. We cannot in any way replace chlorination with chlorine in the pool, so it's supplemental. And we've seen basically the chloramine or chlorine use change when we have UV versus when we don't. So I do believe in it, but it is supplemental, of course. It's not a sole disinfection method.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 8A, thank goodness, Jim, yours is cheaper.
Yep. Yeah, we've got the need to buy a new X-Mark 72-inch mower. It's a budgeted item, and we've got 2 bids. We did send off, took quotes from a third one, but no quote was submitted, so we're just down to 2. And I'll have Commissioner Steckland let me open.
Exciting. The winner is. You wanna go first or me?
Yeah, mine's or this bid is from FB McAfoo's, and it's for a, okay, the net difference including the trade-in, that'd be a total of $11,799. That's with a $3,000 trade-in.
Make sure I get this right. So this is the bid. This is the yours.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So mine's a little tractor and equipment. The bid of $14,799, but with the trade allowance and stuff brings the total amount to $9,299.
Moses,
Yeah.
can we compare the models and stuff just to make sure we're, that's what we're talking about?
2022, this is a Laser ZX series.
Yes.
Yeah, you got that?
921.
921V, 31 horsepower.
Yep.
We have the same.
So what on yours, what's the selling price of the one that the mower itself?
Mine's selling price is $14,799.
Same here. So he's just,
So it's just the trade-in
it's
difference?
just a trade,
Yeah, this trade's 5,500.
3,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's your difference.
There's where you do this. Okey-doke.
So with that, I'd make a motion to approve the bid for the new X-Mark 72-inch mower to the tractor for $9,299.
I'd second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay?
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 9, public affairs. Jim, most of these workers are in your department, I know that, not all. Would you care to handle these motions? 9A.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve a collective bargaining agreement with Labor's Local 773 and the clerical unit of the City of Marion, effective retroactive to May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2025.
Second.
that.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 9B, Jim.
Yes, I'd make a motion to approve a collective bargaining agreement with the Labor's Local 773 and the dietary unit of the City of Marion, effective retroactive to May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2025.
Second that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. John, 9C.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement with Labor's Local 773 and the Public Works Unit of the City of Marion, effective retroactive to May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, item number 10 under Commissioner reports. Commissioner Bartlett, do you have a report?
I do. Start with the Marion Police Department for the month of June. There were 97 city ordinance violations, 232 traffic citations, 34 warrant arrests, 344 incidents reported, 158 traffic accidents, 1 DUI. For the month of June, there were 1,987 dispatched calls, 1,815 911 calls, 4,575 non-emergency calls, 312 ambulance calls. Marion Police Department Narcotics Unit for June. We had 106 case initiations, 122 citations issued, 56 arrests made, 19 warrant arrests, seized 4,584.5 grams of cannabis, 20.5 grams of methamphetamine, 456 grams of a controlled substance, 11 controlled purchases, 2 grams of fentanyl, 11 grams of MDMA, 3.5 grams of psilocybin mushroom seizure, 3 search warrants, 1 consent search of a residence, 1 firearm was seized, and 1 unlawful use of weapons by a felon. That's it.
John?
All right, water department, since last council, we had 1 new service tap, 2 water main leaks repaired, 2 services updated, 10-meter pits were repaired. Finished the water line maintenance and replacement at the water plant, which is all finished. And for the month of June, we had 369 Julie locate calls. Just a past event, we want to thank everybody, including all the city departments, for their assistance with the Knights of Columbus 4th of July. Everything went off fantastic except for the heat. Other than that, it was wonderful. So, lost some weight out there, but other than that, it was good. Yeah.
Yes, we are. With the streets, we're finishing the sidewalk on Boynton Street. Looks really good out there. Done that with the street department staff, so I appreciate their hard work on that. Also, we're doing a drainage project on North McLaren Street. Cleaning the creek along Boulevard and Highland Streets. We recently demoed 2 more houses. We have recently finished the levee project on the Crab Orchard Creek, which is south of town. So that job is done now. Of course, mowing right away in the yards. And I noticed they've been out striping the streets quite a bit. That's looking good too. So, cemetery, we had 14 burials in the month of June. So that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, I don't have a report on my departments tonight.
Yeah, a question for Jim in the street department. I had a constituent call me, and they had taken some stuff down to the dump area, the limbs, tree limbs and leaves and stuff on Saturday afternoon, and it was closed. I know a few months back we decided to leave that open until afternoon anyway for people that work during the week and do that on Saturday. Is it possible for us to leave that open till 4 or 5 o'clock?
Let me discuss that with Doug if you don't care. Make sure we're not.
They had a good point. They said they work during the week and they can't get down, so that they work on the weekend on their yard, and then it closes by noon and they can't get there.
Okay. I'll talk to Doug, and it's certainly fine with me, but I'll make sure we're not
Okay.
crossing ourselves. Thank you.
We have to staff that though, right? I mean, it's not, or is it just leaving the gate open?
Yeah, I thought somebody from the sewer department was closing the gate when they left at noon. Is that right, Randy? Do you know?
Yeah, I think that was me. Actually, I was down there on something else and the operator had already left, and when I went out, I saw the gate was locked or not shut. I went ahead and shut it. I didn't really know what the procedure was on Saturdays anymore. They used to shut it.
Check with Doug. There may be some changes in those procedures because of some of the things that have happened in the last few months.
Okay, under miscellaneous, I had one thing to talk to you guys about. Wendy just finished up on this today. This is just for you to take home and read, but this is some zoning regulation, Title 11 in our code. The original ordinance, which way back in '87, are just some timely updates. All of it is underlined in red. It's in here that's being changed. The main thing to focus on is, there's two big issues. One, what's contemplated in here, and this is really, this Building and Code's making this recommendation. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, but it has to do with mobile homes. We've not allowed those in R1, but by council approval have allowed it with your hearing process in R2. There's been a lot of requests for that lately, and their recommendation, and I want to think about it myself some more. I think I agree, is that should be restricted to mobile home zones only. I think that's just something to consider. So that's what's in here, along with a bunch of technical changes. But really the major thing is as we've discussed, and I know this is a contentious issue on people operating business. We've got an issue right now ongoing that I'm still working on about our code not addressing the ability for people to have basically a home occupation inside of their home. I do not feel like you can read our code either way as to whether it's allowed or not, but the reality is we've never enforced that I can find. And we have several businesses, hairdressers, bookkeepers, gunsmiths, that kind of thing, in homes. We know that exists. I don't know if the intention was to ever enforce that. If that was the way the code was intended, I don't believe we have, which is why I'm having a hard time with it myself. So I went out and searched, found 6 or 7 different municipalities and different ways they regulate what they call customary home occupations. So that's where all this red line language, I found one in Illinois that I thought pertained more to our situation, and it's really just a starting point. I think we've all got different feelings about this or whatever, but I want you to read over this, get with me or Wendy on things you like, you don't like, or suggestions. For example, on permit revocation for non-compliance, that's, I don't have these pages numbered, but it's 7D2C. You'll see that's yellow highlighted. Any other, that's meant, can you think of anything else, right? Like this. But the basic concept here is that this permits it, but we regulate it. Right now, we are not regulating it by definition. Despite what you read in the code is whether it's allowed or not, we haven't. So if we either go with the status quo, which is what we've been doing, I'm having a hard time cracking down on anybody, so to speak, if we never have. That's unfair to everybody else that's allowed. Does that make sense? If we're going to go down that route, my suggestion is we allow it with these stipulations that are in here, which basically what this says, and I will be, according to Wendy, code department doesn't like this at all. They think it's a slippery slope. I think what we're on is a slippery slope, because the reality is the economy's changing. People are, this really doesn't have to do from working from home. Let's not confuse that with a business in a home. That's different. This has to do with something basically out of sight, out of mind. But if we want to regulate it, we need to put some things in there where they have to apply for a permit. Code enforcement personnel needs to go out there and look over the situation, see if they've got, adequate parking for that situation or any other concerns that they have. They can grant them a permit, and then it would give, in this case, the mayor, the ability to revoke it if these conditions aren't met. But I guess what I'm asking for is you guys got to decide and give me some direction on how to handle these situations, because it's just very not clear to me in interpreting the code, particularly from the standpoint is that we basically always allowed it. So if we're gonna start doing this, I've gotta have some regulations to go by. And if we don't wanna do this, just leave it the way it is, I'm fine with that, but everybody needs to understand that I don't have the ability to clamp down on it in any way. Because this ultimately is the mayor's stack of responsibilities in this code enforcement area. So this is really a starting point, just on some language that I found. Wendy went and edited a lot of it, based on our specific situation. But I just need some input from you guys on what you like, what you don't like, or if you don't like any of it, that's fine. We can stay the way we're at, but that's what that is. So if you would please study that, and I would like, even if we throw all that out, if you hate it, we need to make some of these other technical corrections. For example, we renamed code enforcement to building and code services, and so we need to refer to that in the code. That's what most of this is. Also needed to add a definition for a commercial establishment, because that one was kind of unclear.
Just jump out here real quick.
Yeah.
This is the height of the main building has to be 50 feet.
Well, if it's not in red line, that's existing,
That's
right?
That's
But
probably.
what does that mean? To have a commercial building or commercial, it has to be 50
Oh,
foot
wait a
tall?
minute. Let's make sure that's
Or
even.
is that a minimum? It's 11.8B-4, it's on the last
Are you
page.
looking at the commercial section?
I'm looking at the back page of this one we just got handed out. I just happened to read that.
So it's under C1,
Yeah.
and I guess that's under, no, I'm sorry, it's under C2, Article B. And his question is
It's 11.8.
11.8B-4.
Yeah. It says site and structure requirements. And all it says is height of main building 50 feet.
Yeah, that doesn't, is that right?
That seems odd to me.
Or should it say maximum height of building, I think is the question.
That's what I would think it would be. Yeah, you can't build a 6-story
Huh?
commercial structure.
You don't want 50 feet as maximum.
I'm saying, I think that's,
No, I think that's probably the code for a C2, which is what this is contemplating.
but shouldn't it at least say that's the maximum height? It just says height, almost like it has to be 50 feet.
That's as it reads now.
Okay, well, that may need, we may need to look at that too, good catch.
Red
You
line.
need to put a,
Yeah.
you need to put a change in there, let me
A
know.
4-story hotel will be over 50 feet.
Right.
So you gotta be,
Well, this is a hotel allowed in C2? Okay, well, good point, so please look this over.
Yeah.
There's, again, most of this was dated from, including that, is April of 1987. So, that's
That's why we're all just weed lads then.
yeah. Okay, anything else to come before the council under miscellaneous? Anybody have a need for an executive session tonight on any qualified purpose? I do not. Okay, hearing no need for executive session, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
A lot of competition for that one. Always.
It throws us all off not having a
Yeah.
person there.
All the vegetation and.
All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stepland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay, thank you all.